Hey there, it's Elizabeth, and welcome back to another Ramble session on a Monday. I hope y'all are doing well. Oh my goodness, folks, what a week! What a week! I'll give you a skinny on everything in just a minute as we go through all of the stuff, right? Oh my heavens to Betsy. Okay. Yeah, lots to share. I want to thank y'all so much for checking in on me. I just had a lovely message from Sweet Barbara this morning as I sat down to film this video. She had texted and said that she had she had lit candles for me and prayed for us, and I'm so grateful to all of you for all of your prayers. And they have been answered, some of them, and yeah, so it's been really great. And I thank you so much for your love and kindness to me and especially to my family. Yeah, so I got that lovely message this morning right as I was sitting down. So I just let her know that this video would be coming out probably around 3 p.m. her time, which she's over in the UK. So thank you, my sweet friend Barbara. And others of you who have checked in on me as well. I sincerely appreciate your care. So yes, a lot has been going on, as most of you know. Our sweet first granddaughter, she is in the NICU. I'll give you more information on that in a minute, as much as I can give anyway. My husband had his surgery last week. I'll give you information on that. I was able to manage to make my July journal. Oh, just so much. My plate. I need to get a bigger plate, right? Is that what I need to do? Okay, so last week I did actually come in here and I finished out my June journal, okay? This would have been my sweet dad's birthday. Oh my goodness. I'll have to mark that on here somehow. Yes, he passed away about 3 years ago now. 22. Yes, 3 years ago. So, okay, so yes, I went through and I have decorated all my pages. I also had gone through and I've done some of the journaling, right? Some like right in the middle, and then I stopped here. Then I have to go backward. Yeah, so I still need to finish the journaling, but that is just a-okay. In the back here are all of the hospital tags, you know, that you get when you're visiting people in the hospital. So, and then the other addition that I put onto this journal is this beautiful butterfly. And of course, that is the symbol of my sweet granddaughter. And yeah, so I thought that would be fitting to put this on here. I might try to find a Bible verse to put on here somewhere. Okay, my husband must be printing something. A Bible verse to put on here maybe, and then I still have to, stamp or do something to put June 2025. Okay, so there's that. And then I do believe, I don't know when it was. I cannot remember. I'd have to look at my notes, and I don't have them here. My brain has stopped braining, okay, over these last few days. So that is another reason why this video is coming out late. Yesterday, I was able to spend the day with my daughter at her house. She came to pick me up. Oh, yesterday was, it was lovely. Don't get me wrong. It was lovely seeing my daughter and spending the day with her at her house. I went over to help her clean and put things away. And as she's still, they've got still a lot of boxes. Again, well, if you're new here, welcome. If you're not new here and you're returning, welcome back. I appreciate you being here. The story with my daughter and her boyfriend, if you didn't know, they moved into their house, I don't know, like 2 months ago or something. It was very slow going. They were repainting and cleaning and doing all this stuff. And so they still have quite a few boxes to unpack and all of that. So I went over there to help her, to help keep her motivated, as she said. Yeah, and it was a really nice day. But at the very beginning of that day, can I just tell you, this is going to be gross. So, if you want to fast forward, go ahead. But So she came over to pick me up, and my husband's still recovering from his surgery, so he was not going anywhere aside from the couch. So she came over and picked me up, and I went out to the garage to get my sweater out of the car, and I smelled an odor that was not good. And so I came in and I told my husband, I said, what? Because we keep our garbage cans in our garage. And I said, something out there has a very, foul odor. And, what is in the garbage? And he said, there's nothing in the garbage. And I said, well, then it's something else. So my daughter and I went out there a few minutes later, and we're looking around for, perhaps an animal that had met its demise in my garage. Well, that wasn't the case either. And so we looked everywhere. And then my daughter says, it smells like bait, like fishing bait. And I said, oh no. I looked in my deep freezer. Sometime it must have happened when we were gone out of town for my husband's surgery. That freezer completely defrosted. I mean, completely defrosted. And I was like, oh my heavens. So long story short, so we took it out. My husband, stitches and all, the poor man, he should not have been doing this, let me tell you. But he got the little dolly thing, whatever it's called, hand truck, and he took it's a small upright, deep freezer. And so he took it out and put it right outside the door, on our driveway. And he said, just leave it here. We'll clean it out later, and whatever. And I was like, okay. He says, no, don't worry, it's sealed and everything, it's fine. So I said, okay, fine. So I went off to help my daughter. So we did that, and we got everything done. It was a very nice time. In fact, my son and his wife came over because my daughter had made breakfast for them, so we all had a very nice little brunch together, and a nice time visiting. And then my daughter later in the afternoon, much later in the afternoon, brought me home. Well, during the day, my husband had texted me and said, the power is out here. And I was looking on the weather radar, and I noticed there was some nasty storms around. So anyhow, we get home and we drive up to my house. Oh gosh, you guys, I mean, I cannot make this stuff up. All right. I just cannot make this stuff up. So we drive up to the house. The the door is open, and spoiled food has fallen out onto my driveway. And I'm dying. I'm dying, you guys. I'm dying. So we go in, and of course, there are just flies everywhere. I mean, it was horrific. So, oh my gosh. So I go in to tell my husband, I'm like, well, it looks like we're going to have to clean out that freezer a little earlier than we had hoped. So all three of us are out there with, holding our breath, getting all the stuff in bags, putting it into oh, it was a mess. It was a mess, I tell you. So now the stinky freezer is now on the street in front of my house, away from my house, as is the garbage can. And the garbage doesn't come till tomorrow. Oh my heavens to Betsy. It was a day, let me tell you. Good, the good, the bad, and the ugly, right? Anyhow, then we have here, this is my new journal for July. And let me just tell you as well, I did fix up this journal, minus this. This is the journal that Sweet Maritza had sent me all the way from Puerto Rico. Isn't it beautiful? And it is for our little butterfly, to keep notes of our little butterfly. And it did have, just so you know, I have it up on my desk. It did have this glued here. I took it off just so to take the bulk out when I write in it, but it's right in front of me so that when I'm done, or when I move on to another journal or what have you, I will put it back on. So there's that. Yes, so I think you might have seen this last week. I'm not really sure, but yeah, I went ahead and sewed a signature into it, and so I will keep track. I do believe, I really hope I can do this. I will keep track of butterfly in here. Yeah. Originally, I was kind of on the fence with, should this be my July journal or not, or should I just have a separate one and all of that stuff? I don't know. We'll see how it works out. We'll see how it works out. Now, this one, I have to say, I probably won't be sharing, you know, like flip throughs of or whatever. It'll just be like my own personal journal, because, you know, it's about my granddaughter, and my son and his wife do not want anything like pictures and whatnot, you know, on social media of their daughter. And I completely understand and respect their wishes. So therefore, there will not be any of that. But I will always keep you apprised of what's going on. And if there are any, you know, pictures that I do happen to put in my personal journal here, which is still a personal journal, but it is one that I share with all of the internet, they will be covered, you know. So anyhow, so I went ahead and I decided to make a journal for July. And so this is how I made it. It is, again, just like all my other journals, it is made out of a white mailing envelope. This is a napkin that I glued on here, a scrap of vintage fabric. I sewed in a signature containing 16 pages folded in half. That gives me enough space to journal for 1 month. 3-hole pamphlet stitch embroidery floss is what I used here. I used a stamp that I have and stamped out July 2025, and these are just stickers that I put on, happy planner stickers or something like that. And then this right here is seam binding. It is vintage seam binding that I had in my drawer from an old estate sale. It's like threadbare even. Like, anyway, it works a charm to seal it. And then on the inside, I do not care that this paper does not, you know, match the stripes on the front of it. It doesn't matter to me. The blue in here kind of, you know, goes with, I think, the blue on here. This, of course, being butterflies for you know who, my sweet granddaughter. And then my vellum sheet that I love putting in the front. This is kind of like the opening page. And then, like I said, I have 16 pages folded in half in here, giving me enough for an entire month's worth of journaling. And this time I will be moving back to double spreads. Yeah. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes, friends. So this was July 1st, and it was on a Tuesday. And I've done nothing else, okay? So now, what are we on now? We're on the 7th? The 8th? I don't know. Anyway, 7th or 8th, whatever. I think it's the 7th. So, at any rate, yeah, I'm a week behind. It doesn't matter. I will come in here, get it done when I can get it done, right? Okay, so then I went on Instagram. Oh my goodness. Did I tell you guys I was up at 3 a.m. this morning? Yes, I was. Why? I have no idea. Yeah, I was up at 3 a.m. I attempted to go back to sleep. And failed miserably. So I was out in my living room by 4 o'clock in the morning having my first cup of coffee. Now, these that I'm cutting up here are Sweet Lydia's from February and June. I will have her linked below. In fact, I need to write that down somewhere. So, whoops, that's not working. Do I have a pen? Do I have a pen? Come on. Oh, good grief. I'm sorry, guys. Oh, here's one right here. One of these. One of these? Okay. So, Sweet Lydia. Yes, I love her, her journal prompts. They're a lot of fun. They, cause me to think, which is always good. Yeah. And I think this time I might adopt something that I've seen Allison from AJ's Inspired Life do. And what I would normally do is just start on a Monday, whatever, the first Monday of the month, and I would, work in consecutive order that way. But since I am usually not current, let me keep cutting and chewing gum. Since I'm very rarely current these days, it doesn't make a difference, right? So I'm going to keep these close at hand on my desk. And so whenever I see something or I'm on that specific day, I will just go ahead and use one of them appropriately, right? For that day. I hope that makes some semblance of sense. Yeah, I just, like I said, I usually just put them in right away, you know? And so, well, let me just give you an example, right? Like in this journal here, this is the problem I ran into. Usually, I mean, when these prompts come around, I'm like right on top of it. But in this case, see, this is my June journal and I have not journaled in it yet. I've only journaled part of it, right? So like for instance, this one here is, what are your favorite go-to meals you're making a lot recently? Well, I can still answer that right now, you know. It's not pertinent to the day or anything like that. On this one here, who are you grateful for today? I can still do that one. Where in your home do you keep your keys? I can still do that one. I thought there was one in here that wasn't. What was something cool you saw on social media today? There you have it. Okay, that one right there. That's a today kind of thing, and I haven't journaled about it, right? So I guess I'll just have to like go through my photos or something back on this day and see if I had saved anything or something that I thought was cool. But that's what I mean. So some of the days are, some of the prompts are quite pertinent to the day itself. And so, yeah, I don't want to get stuck kind of in that little kerfuffle, you know? So this way I will just cut them out, put them in a pile, put them on my desk in front of me. If I happen to be on a Wednesday and I want to do the prompt, I will do it, right? I hope that all makes sense. But I really enjoy Lydia's prompts because they are at times, you know, thought-provoking. It's just fun little tidbits about yourself a lot of times and what's going on. So, yeah, I really do enjoy them. I really do enjoy them. Okay, these little bits I will save because this is what I do my little hand lettering on, and so there's that. Okay, so let's get this moved out of the way. Oh my heavens, the desk, is in shambles. All right, so these are gonna go up here, so I remember to use them. Then when I was at my daughter's house yesterday, she gave me a ribbon. She also gave me these two things, or she was gonna throw them away, and I said, no, give them here. You know, you probably use them for something. I don't know what, but something. And then she gave me a whole bunch of Mantra Wellness magazines. Yeah, so I will probably be going through these and seeing, oh, that's fun, and seeing how I can use them, right? So she gave me a whole bag of them. And plus she gave me some stickers. These are, that's from France. That's a beautiful one. Ukraine. You know where she got these from, I bet, is from those, the Yum Yum boxes that I got them last year for Christmas. Anyway, and then thus far, the Lord has helped us. Amen. Now, this is a magnet, and I have nothing magnetic in here, so I don't know where I'm going to put this, but I could actually put it just, you know, I could still glue it in my book, even though it's a magnet. I love that. Okay, so these go in stickers. All right, and then these go in here. Okay. So let's see, and then these go over here. Oh, I need to cut these off too, but I won't right now. Okay, so here is the lowdown on the garden, right? Well, first of all, look at that beautiful little bunny in my husband's hand. Oh my goodness. Last week, or 2 weeks ago, I guess now, before last week, I guess, I don't know. Anyway, we have a lot of Eastern cottontail bunnies in our neighborhood and in and around the area. They are everywhere. And this is the second time we've actually had a rabbit warren, the little nest, you know, that they make in our yard. And so one day, I guess, my husband let the dog out, you know, Remington, and he sniffed out that hole. Well, he didn't hurt. No bunnies were harmed in, you know, the telling of this story. No bunnies were harmed. But he sniffed him out, and then, you know, of course, there were 3 of them in the nest, and they just went hopping. So my husband, I was in my room here, and my husband says, you know, help, I hear this, help me. And I'm like, what on earth, you know? So I go out there, and he says, grab that bunny. So I'm chasing a bunny, he's chasing a bunny. So anyway, all the bunnies are fine, and they have all left the nest now. So there's that. And my dog wouldn't have hurt them at all. He just was very curious about them, you know, and of course when they started hopping, he gave chase, you know, but all it did was scare the poor things. But we did get them. They were all perfectly fine, and we put them back in their nest, and they stayed there for a little bit longer. But then my husband took a picture. So cute. And then here's my garden, if you can see it. All of these right here are marigolds, if you can believe it. Now, this is the very first time I've ever gardened, okay? And I've learned a lot of lessons along the way. And one of them is to definitely read and or look up what type of flower seeds you're getting. All of this is from seed. And make sure, what I was looking at was like how far, you know, how to sow the seeds, in other words, right? That's what I was looking at. But I did not look at things like how big they're going to grow or anything like that, right? So anyway, these particular marigolds can get 2 to 3 feet high. Oh my heavens to Betsy. So yeah, I wanted the short little ones, but anyway, they're about to start budding. This back here, that back there, is a tomato plant, and it started budding. These little ones right here are morning glories that I just planted not too long ago. This is a marigold that's fallen over. Anyway, what else is here? Oh, right here is basil, a huge clump of basil. I need to go out there and harvest some. And then let's see here. These are my cucumbers. These are some radishes. These are some squash, and these are some more marigolds. And then I've got dill in there as well. And then this is the other side of my cucumbers, right? They go clear all the way down to the ground now. I'm not really sure if, to be honest with you, I'm not really sure if there are any cucumbers on them. Many cucumbers have started growing, and then I had noticed when they were about like an inch long, they would turn yellow, shrivel up, and die. So I don't know what's happening. I don't know. But I'm going to have to figure out when this all occurred and when I took the pictures in order to put them in here. Anyway, what was I saying? I forgot. Oh yeah. Luckily, we've been getting a lot of rain lately, so I've not had to go out to my garden and water it as often, which is very nice indeed. So there's that. Okay, now I need to locate my scissors. I did have a nice cup of tea last night and had some Biscoff, which I love, and so I wanted to kind of maybe cut this way. I don't even know. Yeah, I like putting food packaging in my book. I think it's a fun little addition to any page, really. So I will gently cut this. Not too gently. It doesn't really matter. Okay, so I'll have that. And the other thing I need to do as well is, let's see here. Okay. Now, these numbers, just so you know, these are from Sweet Melissa. Let me get my pen. At Messy Creates. And I'm not, this month, for this month, I'm just going to use a variety of things, of numbers and days of the week. So it's not going to be specifically this particular whole set, if that makes any sense. So they'll just be random. But in this case, this number here comes from Messy Missy Creates, and then these here come from Loveland's Life. So what I do want to do, however, and I literally just pick randomly, okay? So this was the first, that's going to be the second. This is going to be the third, again, totally random. Third, this is going to be, now, mind you, if I get to the page itself and I decide there's 4, well, this will have to like go over here. That's fine. Fourth, here is the 5th. I'll use another big one from Melissa because I like them. And see, now that I have bigger pages or a lot more real estate, you know, to do my journaling on, then I don't mind using, I love these the bigger numbers, right? So 5, and then we have, we can use another big one, but this is from Loveland's Life. 6, okay, and then we have 7. So let me see. Okay, this right here is 6. So this small right here, this doily, and this right here is all July 6th, okay? 6th, and then this is the 7th. All right, so there's that. And then, sorry for the reach, and then in this book here, I keep all of the days of the week. Okay, now, I do not go in here and glue these in first. I wait until, I just stick them in here, and I wait until, you know, that particular day that I'm doing the journaling or doing the decorating to then glue things down where I think I want them. Okay, so that was a Tuesday, right? Yeah, okay, Tuesday. So here we have Wednesday. These are my letters, by the way, and they are in printable form down below where I have my printables. So that's Wednesday. And these are from, again, from Loveland's Life or Messy Missy Creates. So there's Thursday. Is that right? Thursday. This is Friday. We'll just do another pink one. Friday. And then Saturday. Saturday. We'll do that one for Saturday. And then this is Sunday. So maybe we'll do one of these for Sunday. And then I think that's all I put in here. No, Monday the 7th, which is today. Whoops, let me go back to Monday. Okay. So we have Monday. Let's, come on now. Work with me, will ya? I guess my hands are dry or something. I don't know. All right, there we go. Monday. So we have that so far. Okay, so now I know last night is when I had the Biscoff, okay? So I can either, once I get to decorating the pages and whatnot, I'll decide what to do with this. I'll decide whether I want to just cut this off, whether I want to cut the cookie out, whether I want to put the whole thing in here as something, as, you know, a flip up or whatever the case is, okay? So I'll do that at some other time. Monday. Yeah, that was on Sunday when I had that. Okay, so... Okay, now here's some of the other things that I need to stuff into the journal, and I'll tell you along the way. Okay, so Sunday, yes, all right, that's when I saw the kids. My daughter made breakfast. Saturday, we were pretty much at home. However, I do believe this is when we got the news of our sweet little butterfly. So, without going into too much detail, she was born on the 27th of June, and she has been in the NICU ever since, and she is doing she is doing better, and she has, gotten over some hurdles, and she is on her way to a full recovery. So things are going very well with her. It's just been a kind of a long process, and it's of course been emotional and all of that. My husband and I have been, before my husband had his surgery, we have been to see her many times, and we're able to pray over her and all of that, and of course support, our son and his wife. And so, yes, things are going well. Things are going well. So let's see. I thought this was really funny. Cleaning the kitchen, but saw the laundry, so I watered a plant, and now I'm making a dentist appointment. I don't know. I think that's gonna go on this day. That's really funny. Back to Sweet Butterfly. Yes, she's doing better. We still do not know when she will be out of the NICU. It's decisions are made on a daily basis. So it's just one day to the next, But again, I really, really, just from the bottom of my heart, appreciate your prayers so, so much. I really do. Thank you. This one talks about joy, so I might put that there, perhaps. This is another little bunny picture. He was one of the little bunnies, if you can see him right there. He was hiding in the grass. Yeah. So I have to look up when I did that one. And then this, my heart breaks, absolutely breaks, for the people in Texas. If you don't know what happened, they had just an historical event there, a flooding event. Many people have lost their lives, many children, families. There are still people that they are looking for. It has totally devastated not only that area, of course, but just the nation. Let me just make sure you're in frame. Okay, yeah, and that actually happened on the 4th of July, early in the morning. And I'm just holding Texas to my heart, and of course in my prayers. My parents lived for a time in Texas, and it is a beautiful state, although I saw a very small part of it. They lived in a little town called McKinney, and it was a beautiful, beautiful area. And yeah, so prayers for Texas for sure. And then that happened on actually, the 4th of July, so early morning. So then I have this 4th of July blessing, so that goes in there. One tiny stranger enters your world and instantly becomes the most significant part of it. And in just a short time, you find yourself feeling as though you have loved them for an eternity. Yes. Let me see. I might put that on Sunday, because that's when I saw my gems. And then this was sent by my sweet friend Maritza, the one who made me the baby journal. And so, yeah, I need to look on when she sent this so I can put it in my journal. And then this here, great people do not do great things. God does great things through surrendered people. Amen to that. I'm not really sure where I'm going to put that either. So I'll have to, again, put this in the pile. So here's my pile that I have yet to need to put into my journal. I have to look on my phone and figure out what day and or look at my notes, and figure out when these things occurred so that I can put them on the right page. But yeah, I showed you the whole thing. Okay, yes. I'm just trying to think of what else. Okay, then I did spend a little bit of time in here. It was probably when my husband got home, maybe, from surgery. I don't know. So my husband, oh my gosh. So my husband, he had surgery. He used to have an intrathecal pain pump, right? It just continuously pumped pain medication. for his chronic condition. And so it was determined that after years of having it, it was not working. And so they, my husband came to the determination that he just wanted it out. There's no reason for it. So we went down to Miami, which is a couple hours south of here, to for him to have his surgery with his pain doctor. And so my daughter actually went down with us for support, and so we get to the hotel there. We were in the town of Coral Gables, which is a beautiful area of Miami. I was born and raised in Miami, so I know the area well. And Coral Gables is just a beautiful little area. However, I am quite upset with the hotel that we stayed at, which, of course, in the grand scheme of things is really stupid. But you know how I like to complain, and you know how I like to just have a good yarn about my irritations, my life's irritations. So we get to the hotel, everything's dandy, whatever. We had a very nice dinner there. We actually went down to the restaurant and ordered it and then brought it back up to eat. My daughter and I, my husband, couldn't anyway. And so there were 2 bottles of water. You know how like when you're in a hotel and they have 2 bottles of water on the dresser or whatever, and they have a tag on it telling you the amount of, that it's going to cost for you to drink this water, right? So my daughter and I were looking at it, and it was $6 a bottle, right? Which is completely outrageous, all right, in my own opinion. This is just all my opinion. So anyway, we made a joke about it, right? And there is a point to this whole water story. So we made a joke about it, saying, because I was like, I used to get that same exact water at Publix for $2 for 2 bottles for $1, right? I mean, this was a couple years ago. And yes, I know that everything has increased lately, but so anyway, we made a joke about the water, right? I bring my own water because I have to have electrolytes, so I carry around my own bottle of Propel. So obviously I didn't need that water. And my daughter carries her Stanley cup around, filled with her own water, right? So no need for that water at all. And so anyhow, so we go, my husband has a surgery, which I'll tell you about that in a second, has a surgery, whatever. Anyway, we get home, and we had the very next day when we checked out, because we were only there for one night. When we checked out, we immediately got the bill, it included dinner, the room, all of that. Everything was hunky-dory, great, good to go. Then my husband, after we got home, the next day, he said, we just got 2 separate bills from the hotel for the water. And I was like, what? He said, did you or my daughter, whose name is Sadie, did you or Sadie have any water? And I said, no. In fact, we were joking about how expensive it was and who in their right mind would drink the water anyway. And so he says, well, yeah, we got a bill for it. So I was like, oh, no, they didn't. So I called the hotel, and then they give me this story. Well, you're going to have to wait until Monday or Tuesday because the head of housekeeping isn't back in until then. And I'm like, what is that going to do? So you're going to ask her if we took the water or not? And so you're not going to believe the customer over what your housekeeper says? Like, I'm very confused, but regardless, she will be getting a call from me if I don't receive a call from her, finding out what happened to the mysterious, very expensive water. So I'll keep you posted on that. Anyway, when we did get home, I made these. I had seen these somewhere on Instagram. Many people make them. It's actually on a strip of just very inexpensive packing tape. I think we probably got this at Dollar Tree. And I just took little pieces of paper and stuck them onto the tape, right? And then I took it to my sewing machine and just casually sewed. And then what this does is I can easily cut this and glue it here or tape it in to make it a pocket. I could make it like a little, band. I can make it a belly band this way, a belly band this way. I could even take it and, cut a little piece off of it and make it like a tab on a tag or something. Lots of different things you can do with it. And then I also made this one in which I added see like, this is like remnants of like thread, little pieces of fabric. These are little remnants of thread too from pulled out, you know, when you try to, I don't know what it's called, when you try to like not ruffle the side but make it tattered, you know, that's what happens. So anyway, little, you know, little pieces here and there. So yeah, same old thing, you know. You can make, I can put it on a tag, I can put it as a pocket here, you know, glue it here and here, make this a pocket. I think that would be cute. Yeah, so I was just experimenting. I only made these 2 little ones. So yeah, so that was fun. And then back to my husband, he did have a surgery. It was successful, but he had an instant reaction to an antibiotic they gave him right away. And so the nurse called it red man syndrome, which I don't think is very PC nowadays, but that's what she called it. And yeah, it's where like you get red and like your face turns red and your head's, and you start getting itchy and whatever. From what I've read, you're supposed to counteract it with antihistamines. I don't believe he ever received antihistamines. But they did like lower, it's supposed to be like a fast infusion, and if it goes too fast, it can instantly cause you to have an allergic reaction. Oh my heavens to Betsy. So he's still dealing with that. He had his surgery on Thursday. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and now Monday, 4 days of it. Yeah, he's had like flushing and a very low grade fever. Not even something considered a fever. But and then I went out, I think it was Friday. I went out and I looked at him, and his face was so red. It looked like he had a sunburn. And I was like, you need to contact the doctor. Like, this isn't normal. So he did. And the doctor reassured me that everything was fine. But yeah, so my husband is, the poor thing, he is still recovering from this surgery. I mean, he's never taken this long to recover from a surgery. And it was pretty superficial, you know, like, I mean, he was under general anesthesia and stuff, but the pump was just below his skin surface, you know? So yeah, it wasn't like, I don't know, it wasn't like they needed to go through muscle or anything like that. So anyway, yeah, so there's my husband for you. Oh my gosh. And then this morning, we were supposed to go this morning and drop our car off because if you remember, last week we got into a fender bender, totally not our fault, but a 4-car collision, and it, you know, dented up the front of our car a little bit. And so my husband had made an appointment to go in today to the collision center. Why he did that, I don't know. We, you know, like I said, with everything that's been going on, like our brains are completely on the fritz. And I think that dang freezer yesterday, that was about the straw that broke the camel's back. Oh, but anyway, so for all those reasons, that is why I was late. Oh, and then I looked on Wednesday because normally my videos come out Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And so I looked on Wednesday on my YouTube studio and I'm like, oh, let me just make sure that my Wednesday video up, you know, started. Well, no, it didn't. And so I looked in my calendar and I'm like, what the heck? What happened? Why isn't my video going live? And I realized I hadn't filmed it. Okay. So yes, last Wednesday and Friday was supposed to be flip throughs of my May journal, and I neglected to do that. So I'm very sorry you had no videos for last Wednesday and Thursday. I'm going to try this week to get some of them done. And that is it, folks. Oh my goodness. I have not ridden my bike today because guess what? Guess where my bike is? It's in the garage. So I've got to go make sure that there is no even a hint of that stench in there. And then, you know, maybe I'll be able to ride my bike. I don't know. Anywho, I hope you enjoyed my antics, my life thus far. Again, folks, I cannot make this stuff up. I really cannot. It's just craziness. It's craziness. My life is a bunch of craziness. So, anyhow, you guys are my comfort. You guys are, my joy. Of course, as well as the Lord is. You know that for a fact. But you guys just oh, y'all make me happy. And I thank you so much for joining me in my crazy life. And I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day, a great rest of your week. Keep those Texans in your heart and in your prayers. And again, I appreciate your prayers. I also appreciate that you choose to spend your time with me because let me tell you, I know how precious time is. So I thank you from the bottom of my heart, and I'll talk to you all real soon. Bye for now.